And this is episode 3 of Baylee's podcast. I'm Troy.
And I'm Andrew.
All right, let me ask you this.
What's up?
Is water wet?
Is water wet?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say no. Water is what it is. Water has the ability to get things wet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a substance. Let me ask you this. When you freeze water, is it dry?
No. Well, I mean, if you grab it, if you grab ice and hold it, it'll get your hands wet.
Right.
So
I'm going back to the water form.
Yeah, I guess you can call. I mean, it's not. It doesn't. No, I can't say ice is.
You came in hot with this one, huh? You had this one on your mind.
Yeah. I've been seeing the debate about it, but I think either side of the argument is not. I think both sides are right. There is no wrong answer. I think here's what I think it is. For someone to say water is wet, they are shooting a target at point blank range with a shotgun with spread bullets. Right. And they're hitting the target.
Right.
Well, those who say there's more to it than that, they're shooting from 150 meters with a sniper. Both are hitting the target.
Right.
So both parties are not wrong. But I don't know.
I do think there's a wrong answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because. All right. So I have it in my head how I want to say this, but I can't quite. So I'm trying to relate it to something else, like shit.
So you think calling water as wet is not accurate?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
here's.
I don't think it is.
I know what you're thinking. Okay, so saying water is wet is like saying fire is temperature.
Right.
Or like you go outside, you say, "Oh, it's real temperature out here right now, ain't it?"
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. No one says that. They say
right.
it's hot. They say it's cold.
Yeah.
So that was something I thought about. I know there's probably a better way to explain it. I
mean, is hot lava wet? Is lava wet? I mean, it's.
But think about it like this. So, honey is a liquid. Is it wet?
No, sticky.
It's sticky. So I started thinking, okay, maybe you can't really call water wet, but you can call water a liquid with low viscosity. I looked up viscosity.
Whoa. Never heard that word before, bro.
Yeah, well, viscosity is okay. Viscosity is a measure of a fluid's resistance to flow. So anything with high viscosity, like honey, will flow very slowly. Anything with low viscosity, like water and alcohol, will flow very easily. So I looked into it and I was like, well, is there anything that has a lower viscosity than water? And yes, there is. Acetone, ethanol, methanol, gasoline, liquid propane, ether, whatever that is, and hexane all have a lower viscosity than water, which means they're thinner than water. Right. So I'm thinking, okay, that solves it. So right. Water is not wet. So you can't call water wet. You call water a liquid with low viscosity. Okay. But viscosity doesn't measure wetness, according to ChatGPT. Let's see.
Okay, so I'm going to chime in real quick. Okay, so this is kind of more or less where I sat with it. Mm-hmm. The question of whether water is wet is a matter of semantics and perspective. While water can make other things wet, some argue that water itself is not wet, while others contend that its cohesive properties define it as such. Scientific sources suggest that wetness is a sensation or a property imparted to other objects when they come into contact with a liquid, and that water, by its definition, is not wet. However, other sources argue that because water molecules stick to each other, the liquid itself is wet. Mm-hmm. So there's. Go ahead with what you were saying.
No, well, that was something else I was going to say. It's some people will argue because the molecules themselves. The water molecules, they're wet.
Right.
You can count those as wet. You can count water itself as wet. But on the other hand, like you said and like you agree, water wetness is caused by a liquid,
right?
Not the liquid itself, because you can't hold a glass of a liquid and say it's wet. But if I pour this on the ground, then something gets wet.
Well, let's go to the definition of wet. Definition of wet. If wet is defined as being covered or saturated with liquid, then water cannot be wet because it would be defining itself. According to the, I'm not even going to try to butcher this word, but
let me read it.
It's that bottom line right there.
Stuyvesant, spectator.
Yeah, whatever the hell that is. And then you got relational property. Wetness is often described as a sensation or a property that a liquid gives to another object, not a property of the liquid itself. So I guess it depends on what, I don't know. I want to say it depends on where your brain is, or I don't want to say your intelligence level, where your intelligence level is, but I do want to say it does have something to do with your way of thinking, or I don't know, how you perceive things. Like, like my son would probably say water's wet.
Yeah. I actually don't think, well, I mean, yeah, if you get into the semantics of it and the scientifics of it, then calling water wet is, I guess, wrong. Based on what you just pulled up.
Right.
Wet, when W-E-T, wet, is a word used to describe something that is covered in the liquid and cannot describe the liquid itself.
Right.
And that's just based on the English language and the English word wet. So, but at the same time, and like I don't have a dog in this race. I was trying to look at both sides. I think the first time I ever heard someone call water wet, I was I don't know how old I was, but I was pretty sure I was somewhere between 13 and 15 years old. I was watching an episode of Jay Leno when he was still doing the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
He did a monologue, and he was, he talks about the news, he talks about what's going on, and then he rips on it. He makes a joke. He said, I can't remember what he said exactly that was in like the news, but scientists say this and this and this, and it was something so obvious. Like, scientists discovered something so obvious, and he said, and they also discovered that water is wet. And I heard him say that, and I was like, that is a funny way to describe water. And I thought about that. I was like, yeah, I mean, I guess water is wet. I mean, when you think about it. But when you get down into the specifics of it and the semantics, then you can't really describe a liquid as wet when it is a word to describe something that is covered in the liquid. So I guess that solves it.
And here's what's going to have us chasing our tail. Like, the conclusion of it is the question of whether water is wet is not a simple yes or no answer. It depends on how you define wet. If you define it as the sensation or property of being covered by a liquid, then water is not wet. However, if you define it by the cohesive nature of water molecules, then water could be considered wet. So, like I said, it's all on the individual itself. I think you and I both lean more toward the no, water's not wet type thing.
Yeah.
But that is an interesting topic, though. But it's just one of those ones that'll never.
I guess then it comes to. I guess it begs the question. We can describe fire as hot. We can describe ice as cold. But it
just sounds crazy to define water as wet.
Yeah.
Hey, how does that water feel? Wet.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for the sake of not having a word to describe what water is, other than whether or not it's hot water or cold water, is to just describe it as wet. But there's just no word to describe other than if you just want to be real nerdy about it and just say, okay, fire's hot, ice is cold, water is a liquid with low viscosity.
There you go. Like, is rain wet? I've never heard rain as being described as wet. I have heard of rain getting things wet.
Yeah.
So where's the argument in that? I mean, I've never heard nobody just say, "Hey, man, is water wet?" I mean, is rain wet?
Yeah.
It describes.
No, rain. I guess if we're going with the right answer, rain gets the grass wet, gets your car wet, gets your house wet, gets the trees wet.
Yep.
But the rain is not wet. The rain is the cause of
Definitely
it.
gets the ladies wet.
Yes, definitely, definitely. It is, and it goes with
talking about wet, you know.
yeah. When it comes to a liquid getting covering on something, we'll just stick with water because it's easy. It is the cause. It causes things to get wet.
Right.
I think that settles it.
I think that's where I'm gonna hold my personal look on that. I want to look at it as yeah. I just know I'm gonna be one of them guys that are gonna be on that side of the field. I reckon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's just one of those wormholes, man.
It's called a I guess I don't know if it would be considered a paradox. You know what a paradox is, right?
Enlighten me, please.
Okay, so I'll give you it's kind of a silly paradox because it's based on a fictional character, but
it don't matter.
But
as long as it makes as long as it gets in my brain, so I can get the point.
Okay, so you know Pinocchio.
Yeah.
So every time Pinocchio lies, his nose grows. So he has
It was his nose that grew?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was something else.
You thought it was something.
My bad. Go ahead. That would be dope.
His nose was a lie detector, pretty much. So, if Pinocchio, someone came up with the question, like, well, if Pinocchio were to say, "My nose will grow right now," what will his nose do? Because if it grows, then he told the truth.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, then he lied.
Right.
So, I mean, that is a paradox is one a question that has I guess it kind of contradicts itself.
It's like a double-edged sword type thing.
Yeah, it's like dividing by zero, which I think is just an impossibility, not necessarily a paradox, but
Right.
But yeah, I can't think of any more paradoxes other than that one. I've heard some before.
You know who Ron Howard is, right?
The name sounds familiar. Ron Howard is
he's like the actor. Oh shit! He played in. I believe he was in the first Iron Man. He was in the first Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr.
Ron Howard. What about him?
So he got into this field with scientists, like tried to get on scientific level with Neil Tyson deGrasse and all of them, to where he came up with an actual. Okay, I gotta cheat now. Pull up this Ron Howard. What? Okay, there's a white Ron Howard. I guess there's a black Ron Howard. I thought his name was Ron Howard. Shit.
When you said Ron Howard, I'm thinking Ron Swanson. You know who that is?
I don't.
Ron Swanson is the character from The Office.
Okay. Well, apparently this is a white Ron Howard, but he's not the dude I was looking for. I was looking for the black dude.
Oh yeah, that's Opie. You remember?
Oh yeah, that is Opie.
Yeah,
from
Opie.
The Andy Griffith,
Yeah.
Andy Griffith show. Okay, no shit, huh?
But that's not who you're talking about.
No, like, what the hell? Okay, here's how I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, Ron Howard played Opie in Andy Griffith. Now, I don't know if he was Opie in Happy Days. I think he was someone else in Happy Days. But
My bad, y'all. My bad. Big miss. Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard.
What the fuck did I say?
Let me see. I don't remember him in Iron Man.
Yeah, he was in the first Iron Man.
Okay.
Then like I don't know, something happened where he ended up like he lost the role of the War Machine or whatever, and like he was upset. He was visibly upset about it. But then Don Cheadle ended up getting the role, and Don Cheadle's a goat, dude. He played that role. But yeah, so that's who I was looking for. AI mode. Yeah, he started fooling with this scientific stuff. He was actually on Joe Rogan's podcast, but anyway, he sent his thesis or whatever to Neil Tyson deGrasse, and he.
I recently learned I got name checked by Terrence Howard on his recent appearance.
So he's an astrophysicist.
I reached out to Neil deGrasse Tyson. He was like, "Hey man, yeah, I'd love for you to come come on my show, do my radio, do my TV thing. We love that. I was like, yeah, but I've got something I want to introduce to you.
I got name checked because 8 years ago, he sent me a 36-page treatise.
And it was only 36 pages.
So this is Terrence Howard attempting to reinvent mathematics and physics. A little backstory there. I took initial interest in Terrence because my mother said to me, do you know Terrence Howard? I said, yeah, I know. You mean the actor? She said, yeah. Well, I heard him interviewed on NPR. On there, he said that, like, when he was a kid, he wanted to be, like, a scientist and study the universe. I said, well, that's cool. Okay, maybe we'll get him on Star Talk. We love talking to celebrities who have a soft geek underbelly. At the time, I didn't quite know how to get in touch with him, but we met at something called the Upfronts, which is where networks present their next season's TV shows.
I saw him at an event up front.
And then this came in my inbox. In this particular case, since I basically solicited it from him, I actually spent time reading every line of all 36 pages. And I commented. My comments are in red here. You see that? So I spent a lot of time on it. And I thought, out of respect for him, what I should do is give him my most informed critical analysis that I can. In my field, we call that a peer review. You come up with an idea, you present it either at a conference or you first write it up, and you send it to your colleagues. It is their duty to alert you of things about your ideas that are either misguided or wrong, or there's the calculation that doesn't work out, or the logic doesn't comport. That's their job. Not all ideas will turn out to be correct. Most won't be. But to get to that point, you need to know things like, what has everyone else said about this same subject? Am I repeating someone else's work? Is this a new insight that no one else has had, but has foundations that are authentic or legitimate or objectively true? Am I making a false assumption? Am I making an assumption that someone else has already shown to be false? All of this goes on
I
the
don't want to
frontier
spend
of
that whole
science.
episode of us watching
Let
this,
me make
but
it clear that
I wanted to bring this to your attention because
when I
so
see people
when we said something about mathematics, so Terrence Howard tried to shoot something out there and like argue mathematics. He's literally trying to change mathematics, but it fell through. And I'll send you the link to that so you could check it out. It's an interesting little piece. I don't know if you ever listened to him or
yeah, I know a lot about Neil deGrasse Tyson. I watched his he did a show years ago. I don't remember what it was called, Supernova or something.
okay.
Yeah, I know he's super smart.
Oh, dude, I love this guy, and then he's down to earth. He'll break shit down for you, so like idiots like me can understand what the hell he's saying.
You know, he has said that there are infinities larger than infinity.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You ever hear what he was talking about when he, like, what would happen if the Earth all of a sudden stopped spinning, like,
Oh yeah, well,
abruptly?
Yeah, everything would just fly.
Yeah. All the buildings would just like that would be fucking wicked, dude.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the arguments from flat earthers?
Oh, dude. The only thing that I don't know what's going through their head. I really don't, but the only way that I can try to perceive the only thing I can perceive how they're perceiving it is if you take all the water out of the earth. That's the only way I could see it how they do. Mm-hmm. But being that the
what do you mean take all the water out of the earth?
So if you, okay, the Earth is what 85% water or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, I think it's 85. I think it's 70 something. Well, you're close.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly.
So whatever that may be, if you take all the water away from the Earth, it's not going to be round anymore. 100%, it's not going to be round. Huh?
What will it turn into?
Whatever the shape. So if you drink, and this is my first time thinking about this, but it's kind of on the fly, but I've I've thought about it multiple occasions, but I'm just not speaking on it. So if you drain all the water out of the earth, it's no longer going to have a round shape to it. It's going to be, it could very well be flat with all the water gone, or it could just be, because you just think about it. You think about the shape, all the water on Earth. Now try to picture it with all the water gone. It's no longer going to have a round shape to it.
Well, Mars doesn't have any water on it, and it's round.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's no
there's
actually nothing to drink. There's no. Okay, so yeah, Mars is round.
Mm-hmm. And so is the moon, and the moon doesn't have water on it.
Correct.
I mean, it might have like ice or something. Like scientists make crazy breakthroughs when they find ice crystals or
right.
But we're talking about large bodies of water.
You're right. We're talking about large bodies of water that actually have a bottom. So if you're to take the water out of it, it's no longer going to be round because you have there's an ocean bottom. There's bottom to lakes. There's bottom to creeks. There's actually a bottom to all these. So if you take the water out of it, it's no longer going to retain the same form. It's gonna. Then you're gonna have. So I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. So picture Hawaii, the island. So you take all the water, and it's gonna be like, how high is Hawaii gonna be? So you're gonna have this. You're gonna have this hurdle. It's gonna be Hawaii. So you're walking on the ocean floor with no water, and then all of a sudden you're gonna come into these big giant mountains, which are gonna be Hawaii.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And then like you take the United States. The United States is gonna be, kind of like, okay, you ever seen the coast of California? How it's up so high? Okay, well imagine it 100 times higher if there were no water.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't make the Earth flat though.
No, it would make it flat, but it would make it more. It would make it flatter than what it is now. I mean, it's totally round right now. But that's the only that's what I was saying. That's the only way I could perceive like the flat earthers are saying is that if you take the water out of it, it's not going to be flat, no, but it's not going to be round either. It's going to be kind of a jagged.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's gonna be rougher.
It's gonna be an extremely rough terrain.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I actually heard someone make the theory, or I guess it's more of a hypothesis. If you shrink the Earth down, how did they say it? If you shrink,
I've heard this. I think
if the Earth were shrunk down to the size of a pool ball, it would be as smooth as a pool ball.
Yeah, that was Neil Tyson. He said that. Yeah, he sure did.
Because I mean, you have all the mountains and valleys and trees and everything that makes Earth not smooth. Because there's Earth is not smooth, but if you shrunk it down, it would appear as smooth. Because I guess if you zoom in on a pool ball microscopically, it's got a bunch of rough jags and hills and valleys and stuff. But when you hold it, it feels smooth.
Right.
That's a crazy thought experiment right there.
It is. Bro, did you see the Starship 36 explode in Texas? What the fuck, man? SpaceX, Elon's company. He was about to launch Starship 36. Send it up. That motherfucker exploded.
Oh shit! I heard
huge.
Shit, I wonder how that happened. I think I don't want it to sound dumb. I heard there was some scientist. What I will say is there was some scientist who explained why a rocket. I don't know if there's many different ways, but he said what most likely ends up happening is you have the fuel systems in the rocket that aren't properly regulated. Like it'll go too fast or it'll go too slow, or one will leak into the other, and it'll cause chaos and cause it to explode.
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing what caused it. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to.
Oh yeah, Elon was just like, oh, it's just a little scratch.
Oh yeah, it just comes one of your hiccups.
Right.
Jesus. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's an explosion for you.
Rewind it. It didn't even take. Oh my jeez! It didn't even take off.
No. Not wild.
Whoa, that's bigger than.
Dude, it's bigger than Hiroshima.
Looks like it.
Yeah. Speaking of Hiroshima, did you see that we
And when did this happen?
it was 4 days ago.
Oh, okay, 40.
Yeah, I was watching it live when it happened. It's pretty dope.
Damn.
So yeah, so what do you think about the U.S. and
You saw it live?
Yeah, I was watching it live. I try to watch all of his, when he launches shit.
Was there anybody around?
No, nobody was hurt.
No, there was nobody close to that. Was
No,
okay.
because dude, he's had so many fucking rockets explode. Trial and error. My thing is watching them. Have you ever seen them when they come back? Have you ever seen them land?
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that fucking amazing?
That's cool.
I love so fucking amazing.
I love watching those videos of rocket scientists performing something that is a scientific breakthrough.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they'll land a rover on Mars, or they'll land something. Well, the only two examples I can think of is they'll either land a rover on Mars, which I think there's 2 or 3 right now, or they'll what you just said, they'll launch a rocket and then bring the most important part back for a land. They get excited.
Yeah.
They just jump for joy.
I remember the first time, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but the first time Elon's fucking rockets landed, this dude was fucking running like a kid in a playground, dude. And he was like, did it land? It landed. He's running all over the place. Yeah. It was so cool. But I mean, that makes me feel good. Like, the shit I think he should just go ahead and stay out of politics. But I mean, besides that, man, that dude, he's a fucking awesome person. He's doing a lot of good, trying to do a lot of good.
Yeah, I know he's. A lot of people think he's an idiot. A lot of people think he's smart. I think he's both. I think he's both. He's like Donald Trump. It's possible to be smart and dumb at the same time, because first of all, I heard from Elon Musk. He hosted an episode of Saturday Night Live back in 2021.
I think I remember that, yeah.
And he actually said that he's the first host on Saturday Night Live to have Asperger's.
Yeah,
he's got Asperger's.
He's got Asperger's.
And I mean, he does stuff that's he said. I think at the beginning of this year, or I think coming into this year, L.A. was on fire. You remember when L.A. was on fire?
Yeah.
I think it was him and Donald Trump. Now, I don't think Trump was inaugurated until the tail end of that or in the middle of that. So, L.A. caught on fire for real. And then Trump wasn't in office yet. It was still Biden. He was packing up and ready to leave. But I think Elon Musk for sure and maybe Donald Trump were saying, well, why aren't they doing this or doing that? And I can't remember specifically. I wish I could remember specifically what he was saying, but he had his information all wrong. It's like Donald Trump said during his first term, why don't we drop a nuclear bomb on a hurricane? Do you remember him saying that?
No, did he really?
Yeah, he actually threw it out there. He threw it out there. Now I don't want to condemn Donald Trump for throwing out. It's kind of like the idea. There's no stupid ideas.
Yeah. Could you deter it by dropping a nuke?
Because imagine if someone has a really good idea, but they don't want to say it because they don't want to sound stupid. But that is dumb. Dropping a nuclear bomb on a hurricane, I don't know what it's going to do. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, far from it. But I know that that people were roasting him like crazy. Oh yeah, do that. It's such a good idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did say.
Was he serious when he said it?
Yeah, he was serious. He said if there's a hurricane on its way to Florida or wherever, I don't know if he said Florida, but let's just say hypothetically, if there's a hurricane, it's category whatever, it's gonna kick Florida's ass. Why don't we drop a nuclear bomb on it, and that would get rid of it?
Yeah. I don't know if it would get rid of it, but it would definitely do something.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see the aftermath of that. I don't think. Mm-hmm. But look. So did you hear about the airstrikes that we did on Iran?
No, I heard that one of them was getting their hospitals blown up. Okay. I think it was
Iran. I think
Iran. They're
pounding each other. So Trump's big thing and what supposedly started this whole thing was like nobody wanted Iran with nukes, with nuclear weapons, and what they had these uranium enrichment facilities where they was, that's the only thing that you would enrich uranium for, or nuclear weapons. So that was Iran's whole. I mean, that was Israel's whole thing on attacking Iran. That was scary as shit. But so what we did, sneaky as fuck. I want check it out tonight when you get home on how we did it, because they showed you. But we ended up dropping 3 30,000-pound bombs. Oh no, it was 14. I don't remember how many, but we ended up in and out. Didn't get seen. Dropped them with precision. They said they dropped them on the target the size of a refrigerator. Yeah,
You said 3 of them.
Yeah, it might have been more. So I don't. But yeah, it was 3. There was 3 targets, but we ended up launching more. Like we had a submarine out at the coast that fired like 14 Tomahawk torpedoes to cause a diversion, so our Air Force could be. Dude, it was so sick how they did it.
I gotta see that.
Yeah,
is there video?
There's no, but the general he tells you, and they draw it and mapped out how it did it. Like I think they flew 5 of our B-2 Spirit bombers out, and like 3 of them went in different directions, and 2 of them went straight. I don't. The way it was a precision fucking military move by the good old USA, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, but now they're we're getting a lot of backlash behind it, but I don't think we killed any civilians or anything like that. But now we're getting a little backlash because the whole thing is Trump didn't want them with nukes, and they are the most that's where the terrorists come from. It's Iran and shit like that. Mostly Iran. So now we might be calling for a regime change or whatever, but so they did say that if we made any kind of military move, whatever, they were going to activate the sleeper cells in the United States. You know what sleeper cells are? So sleeper cells are like agents that just blend in with the society. They could be here 15, 20 years. Could be teachers, they could be restaurant workers, owners, business owners. Well, when they get this call from the head of Iran, say, hey, okay, just go with the move. Then we start getting terrorist attacks like all over the place.
Secret terrorists.
Yeah. They're called sleeper cells.
Sleeper cells, like
CELLS, yeah, sleeper cells.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so yeah,
they come into the United States. They're here for like you said 15, 20 years doing regular stuff.
Yeah.
But secretly, if they ever get the call,
yeah,
they're kind of, it's a Trojan horse.
Yeah,
that's like Trojan horse type shit.
Okay. And also on that note, don't forget that Biden had the fucking borders open for what, 2.5, 3.5 years, some shit like that. So there's no telling how many here, but they say there's between 1,200 and 1,500 sleeper cells in the U.S. So, whoa. Yeah, so and we've already been threatened that they were going to activate them. But my mind, like, how many of these agents are just willing to just say fuck it and throw it all away because some bullshit, they had to have got here and ended up fucking having a good life and living the American dream and shit. Why the fuck would you throw it away like that?
Yeah.
But it's just like the terrorist attacks on 9/11, bro. It's shit like that.
These sleeper cells that you're talking about, they are you talking about, let's say they go and do an attack. Let's say they go do an attack at a
See, they have on a fucking vest bomb. So
they're gonna kamikaze. They have to.
Well, it's not. So the way this lady explained it on a podcast I watched, they fight to the death. Either you're gonna die, or they're gonna die, or everybody's gonna die. But that's so basically kamikaze. I'm not gonna sit there and say it's a suicide mission, but they're not gonna fucking give up. So yeah, so supposedly we got that we're looking at. I was thinking that, and from what I hear, they got these invisible invisible fucking vest bombs that are undetected by metal detectors and shit like that.
Whoa! Now that's some advanced shit right there.
Yeah, and the way this lady was saying is like there's phases of them. Like you'll have one of them come in and blow up something, you kill them, and you think that's it. So when everybody tones down, here comes a second wave, and they send in these like fucking
Yeah, they'll probably send them in like a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh yeah, you said how many? What was the estimate of how many?
Estimate was like 1,200 to 1,400.
12?
From what I hear, yeah.
So let's just say it's the lowest number, 12. So send in 300 to 600 at first, and then that's going to be the first wave. Instead of just doing them all at once.
Right.
That would be a scary strategy.
You do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So and that made me go back and think about some of the things that had happened in the past, like the Boston Marathon bombing. Mm-hmm. Like it makes you think about, okay, so were they called in? Mm-hmm. You know, because that was a lot of. I don't know if you've ever seen any of the aftermath on it. There was a lot of carnage. Speaking of carnage, I'm looking at the shit on Iran and Israel, dude. These kids that have fucking their ears blown off and are bleeding from their forehead, dead babies everywhere. That shit fucking hurts my stomach. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting over here just as fucking comfortable as can be. Like, it's sad, but it's part of the perk of being from the U.S.
Yeah.
Is that we don't have to worry about these fucking just missiles flying through the sky all of a sudden. And, you know, we're fortunate, man. And not a lot of people fucking...
Yeah, I've definitely sat and thought about that. Like being even whether you're in Israel or you're in Iran or even the Ukraine, with what's been going on for years and years since 2022, the beginning of 2022. Imagine living in the Ukraine as just a regular everyday person, and you got to worry about, you got to look up.
Yeah,
like you know. You don't just got to watch your back, like watch your six or look behind you. Keep one eye open when you sleep. You have to look up too.
Yeah, you got to listen for the fucking listen for the sirens to go off.
Yeah,
dude, it's mad. It's mad, dude.
Yeah, but these sleeper cells, so they're. When I say I think kamikaze. I don't know if it's specific, if it's defined specifically as like kamikaze is not specifically to a plane crash like 9/11. That was a kamikaze.
Yeah, and they considered how the Japanese when they hit Pearl Harbor.
Okay, maybe
that's where the term derived from.
Right,
was in like 1940. 42 or 43, I want to say.
Okay, well, when I say kamikaze, what I mean is any type of attack that would kill you as well.
Yeah.
So that would include suicide bombing.
No, that's kamikaze. Yeah,
that's kamikaze
right.
too.
Yeah, it is. It could. Yeah.
Well, so these. Do you think these sleeper cells would? They're all in it for the They're in it to. That's their strategy.
Yeah.
Kamikaze.
Yeah.
So they're not like
they don't give a shit about your life or their lives.
Yeah, because you could, if you were a sleeper cell, you could park a raid car, like, you know, to a parade and then walk away.
Yeah.
But no, all of them, I would say they would all, according to their religion and their beliefs, they would have to kill themselves too.
Yeah.
Then they can get 72 virgins.
That a martyrdom or whatever it is they want to call it.
You know what they are supposed to get when they die, right?
No, what is that?
72 virgins. You didn't hear that?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay, so if a now I don't know a lot about Islam, but I do know that we'll take
we're talking about Muslims right now. We're on the
Muslims. Yeah, okay. Muslims. They are of the Islamic religion. Islam is the religion of Muslims.
Right.
So
we're not talking about all Muslims here because we're just talking about the ones that take it a little too far.
Right. The terrorists, they are religious extremists.
Yeah,
for sure. They're not not all Muslims. That would be nearsighted.
Right.
But for example, the terrorists who were responsible for crashing the planes into the Twin Towers,
right,
the World Trade Center on 9/11 in 2001. they were of the belief that when they accomplish that mission, that when they get to heaven,
It's crazy.
their God, which is the same, it's Allah, which Allah translates just to God, by the
Right.
way, in English, is going to give them 72 virgins. I don't know where they got that number from, but that means that they have to complete this mission. You have to take as many lives as you can, including yourself. And then when you get to heaven, it's like you have 72 wives who have not been with, they have to be virgins too, because they're really big on virginity.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Louis C.K. made a joke about that. He said, within a week, it's only like 3 left that are not virgins anymore.
So extremist narratives often associated with terrorism may offer promises to followers, including paradise. Some radical groups promise a place in paradise to those who engage in acts of terrorism. Rewards. Certain interpretations of religious texts, like some hadith, suggest that those who fight in Allah's cause may receive rewards such as booty if they survive, or paradise if they are killed in battle as martyrs. A better afterlife. Extremist rhetoric can present martyrdom as a means to achieve a better afterlife, including purification, redemption, and atonement for sins. Self-validation and meaning. For individuals struggling with shame or self... Okay. So that's some of the jihadists. So there's different ones.
Have you ever seen dogs dream? But
Yes.
they like run.
Yeah. I've seen a video. I've seen a video on YouTube where this dog was fucking hauling ass in his dream, and he got up and started running,
Hit the
smashed
wall.
into the wall.
I saw that video.
It was so cute, bro.
Yeah.
She so she'll do it. She don't run like that, but you'll see her paws move, and you'll see her eyes twitching like her REMs. And then sometimes she'll cry, and sometimes she'll be like, she'll be growling. It's just really neat.
I saw a snake the other day.
Where?
I was running. I was doing a jog, and I was trying to run 5.5 miles, but it was stopped very short of 2 miles, because when I started running, I started doing a jog, and then not long after I started, it started raining. Now it was pouring down. I was just running in the rain, getting soaked and wet, but I was okay with it. I've ran in the rain before, but when I compare it to the last time I ran, which was the day before, it was hot, it was beaming, it was terrible. I was not having a good time. But with the rain, I was feeling a lot better.
Right.
It was not as hot, to say the least. But I was a mile 0.57 in, and I look right in the path, and I see a snake. I see a snake just coming out with the rain. I was
Just
like,
chilling.
yeah, I stopped the run, and I was like, no, I'm going home. Now, the snake ended up, it did run away from me, because I stopped probably 12 feet away from it, and it slithered away from me.
Pretty decent sized snake.
Yes. Now it looked dark. It was a dark snake.
Like
so
a king snake or something. If it was that big, it was probably a king.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how dangerous it was, but my thought process was, okay, there's probably more that could pop out, even on like the other side of around the bend. Like if I were to round the bend again, see another one, see one here, I wouldn't get a chance.
That's smart thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. You reminded me of something. When I lived in South Texas, you know how you got railroad train tracks, and then you have limestone going down or whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, girl's house I was at in Texas, train track was right behind her yard, and it was up high. It was built up, and he had that limestone. And dude, I thought I was tripping. I mean, we had just got through smoking weed, and a train was coming. I like to watch trains. When the train was starting to come, man, I looked, and like 5 or 6 fucking black snakes. It was so weird the way it happened. When the train come, I guess a vibration fucked them up, or something. They started pouring out of the fucking limestone to get to the bottom of it, because the vibration was bothering them. And I was like, oh shit, look at that. Is that normal? And he was like, yeah, it happens all the time, or whatever. But that was wicked. Just to see the snakes come out like that was so cool.
I'm sure that was freaky looking.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Shit.
Yeah, it definitely was. Snakes don't bother me that bad though. Like,
Well, to be completely honest, you take a grass snake or some harmless snake. I think they're if they're harmless, they're cute. They're cute animals.
Yeah.
But I don't want to stop and ask.
Yeah.
Oh, are you gonna bite me? Are you gonna kill me? Are you gonna poison me?
See, this one is best to know around here. It is best to know like what kind of snake you're looking at, because we only got like three of. It used to be 2 poisonous snakes in this region, and I think I think diamondbacks have fucking migrated over here. So there's like 4 or 5 different ones.
Did you hear about that island that is? There's an island. Oh, I can't. I want to say it's near India, but I think that's a different island. There's an island that has dangerous snakes. They can kill you, but it's all over the island.
It's like the tropics or something.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It is. You cannot take a step without a snake being there. That's how overpopulated that island is. I remember seeing a video. I'm gonna look it up and see some more about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up too.
There's a lighthouse on that island, and twice a year or once a year you got to go and change the light bulb. I'm gonna look it up and I'll have all the information like the next episode. But let's just maybe I saw this crew. They go during nap time to the snakes. So the snakes, they're pretty much just relaxing. They're not aggressive. They're not gonna attack. Hopefully, they have a low chance of getting aggressive toward humans at this time. So they make sure to go on this time of the day, and they get to the lighthouse. They change the light bulb. They come back and they leave, and it's not quick. They gotta trek to the lighthouse, and they gotta trek back, and they gotta watch out for the snakes. They gotta make sure they don't step on one. And I think one of them almost did. One of them almost stepped on one. You step on one, and I mean, on that island, and as remote as it is, I mean, you get bit. Let's say you get bit here. Well, you're just a drive away from the hospital.
Yeah.
Over there, I don't know. Maybe they have some anti-venom, in like a first aid kit in their backpack or what.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna look it up and get some more information on it. But that's an island you don't want to wake up on.
Does it get cold on that island, like freezing cold?
I have no idea.
Because snakes don't operate well in the cold weather at all. Like they almost can't fucking bite you.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But there's another island. There's another island that has a bunch of dolls on it. Did you hear about that island?
A bunch of what?
Dolls, like girl dolls.
No. Wait.
Yeah.
How the fuck did that happen?
You know what? Okay, so there's I'm gonna get the story on that for the next episode, but
yeah,
because this just came off from the top of my head. Both of these. Okay, so there's an island with snakes. There's an island with a bunch of dolls, and there's another island that has primitive tribe.
That island with all the dolls on it. That's not Epstein's island, is it?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, it's just some island covered with it's supposed to be haunted. I don't think it's haunted, but. Aside from having all these dolls, it does have a decent population of spiders.
Oh no, that's where I draw the line, dude. That's I cannot do them.
Oh, I tell you what, you go on this island, everybody's like, "Oh, look at all these dolls! It's creepy, especially the story behind what had happened, why those dolls are there." But the people overlook how many spiders are on this island.
What?
They are everywhere.
And I'm pretty sure they're all fucking deadly as shit too, aren't they? Like the tarantulas and shit. Have you ever seen the fangs on a fucking tarantula, dude?
I wouldn't mind having a tarantula.
Oh no, fuck that.
You've seen that. You've seen Breaking Bad, right?
I've never. I think I watched the first episode, but no, I never really got into it.
It's my favorite show ever.
Really?
Yes. There's they have some tarantulas make cameos in that show, but the tarantula, it's I don't like I don't like wolf spiders, black widows, brown recluse, banana spiders, also known as the yellow orb weaver spider, the Brazilian wandering spider. What are the other spiders?
The trapdoor spider, the bird spider or whatever.
Have you ever seen a jumping spider?
Yeah. Why aren't we on the spider topic?
Yeah, well, we can get off this topic, but the jumping spiders are like the itty bitty ones.
Yeah, and they will jump on you.
And you don't like those?
Dude, I can't handle any spider. Like, okay, so I will throw a woman in front of me to shield myself from a spider. I don't give a fuck.
Well, I see those jumping spiders all the time. I put my finger out and poke at it. I'm not like trying to be mean or anything, but I poke
try
at
to
it.
make them jump.
Trying to make them jump. If a jumping spider, and I'm talking about these itty bitty little, they look like a raisin.
Yeah.
They don't scare me. The only spider that scares me, anything that looks like a yellow orb weaver spider, not just because it's yellow, but because I'm talking about those
the big ones with the zipper in their web.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I got smacked in the fucking face by one of those before, bro.
I ran into one once. I was in the woods. I walked into the web, and then I jumped back, and I was like, "What the hell?" It was right here.
Oh. No, dude, I was at Camp Livingston, and I was on the back of a four-wheeler. My buddy was fucking riding, and he was hauling ass. And this motherfucker knows I didn't like spiders, man. And this motherfucker's hauling ass. And these fucking spiders, they would fucking spin the web from one side of the road to the other using a tree from, I don't know how the fuck they did this shit. But their web would literally be spun in the middle of the road. And they'd be sitting there in the middle of the road waiting to catch a fucking bird or something. And bro, I was riding on the back of this four-wheeler having a good old time, bro. And all of a sudden, fucking Justin ducked his head, bro. I'm like, what the fuck? He ducked his head. When he ducked his head, I'm looking at him. I look up and that fucking spider hits me.
In the nose.
In the fucking face, yes. Bro, we were doing 30. I jumped off of that fucking bitch. Came out of all my clothes. Like, I freaked out. He's over here fucking fat ass rolling on the floor laughing at me. And I was so mad, bro. Like bring me home type shit.
So you sat from one side of the road to the other?
Yeah.
And you were on a bike or
He
something?
was on a four-wheeler.
Okay, you were on a four-wheeler.
Yeah, hauling ass. It was like a Honda fucking 400 EX or some shit.
Oh my! I feel it I can feel it on the back of my neck. The hair stands up.
It was so big, bro. It was so fucking big. And like I said, so have you ever been out to Camp Livingston?
No.
Okay, so there's some roads out there, and they're not like street wide, but say half the street, and the spiders somehow when they spin their web. Picture you're looking down the road, right? Mm-hmm. And you have trees on both sides. The web would be in the middle of the fucking road, at head level. Mm-hmm. So 2 strings would be fucking on this side, connected to trees, and 2 of them would be on the other side, connected to trees, and they just went from there and fucking did their thing.
Man.
What an asshole, dude. I still owe that motherfucker for that shit, too. I talked to him the other night, bro. I'm going to bring that shit up, man.
Mm-hmm. He ducked, but he didn't warn you. He was like, I'm going to get out this spider's way.
Bro. And his whole defense was like, I thought you were going to follow suit. Bro, come on, man. You could have said spider and fucking we could have both ducked at the same time. Mm-hmm. No, bitch, you knew what the fuck you were doing.
Well, how much time did he have to warn you? It was he wasn't like you weren't directly behind him.
I was on the same four-wheeler as him, so like, yeah, like he was in the front, like he was riding and I was sitting on the back of the four-wheeler. Like,
it doesn't sound like he had enough time to warn you,
bro. I'll tell you like this: he had enough time to warn me. If his head went down and I had enough time to look down at his head, wondering what the fuck is he doing, and then look up and get smacked in the face with a spider, that motherfucker had time to warn me. Oh yeah,
he definitely. Well, okay, based on what you just said, he had enough time to at least stop the four-wheeler or slow down.
Now I don't know if he had enough time to stop the four because we were going pretty fast, but he did. He's seen that bitch because when those lights on him are pretty bright. So he's seen that son of a bitch, and this was a deliberate act of fucking terrorism, dude, on his part, bro. Like, what a dick. I'll never forget that shit, bro. That's one of those, like, this dude, he scarred me. He scarred the shit out of me. Have you ever seen those fucking spiders that I don't know how big I could fucking relate them to, bro, but they have like a spiky abdomen, and it looks like there's a skull painted on that bitch.
Yeah, you've seen one in person?
Yes.
Yeah,
Here.
it's been a while since I've seen one though. I've seen one in my parents' yard back in the day.
Yeah.
But they're small though.
Yeah, they're small, but they're so evil looking.
Yeah.
Because they got it's hard to explain how the abdomen looks. It looks like there's spikes on it. Mm-hmm. Like,
I feel kind of the same way about spiders as I do about snakes. I like the harmless ones, except for... Okay, well, snakes and spiders are a little bit different. Okay, so the harmless snakes I would like to interact with.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to hurt me.
Yeah.
But the harmless spiders are a little bit of a different story, because the yellow orb weaver spider, also known, I've always called them the banana spider.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they don't bite, but they can stay at far away from me. But like I said, it's really weird because, okay, so a brown recluse is not that big, but it's dangerous, so I'm scared of it. A wolf spider and a banana spider are harmless, but they're big and freaky looking,
yeah.
So I'm scared of them too. But a tarantula...
Oh no!
Is the biggest? I think tarantula is the biggest spider there is. I would actually hold a tarantula.
No.
I would hold a tarantula.
You're fucking tripping. Have you? Okay, let's go back to. Have you ever seen the fangs on a tarantula?
Mm-mm.
Okay, think of snake fangs. You see?
Well, I don't think tarantulas bite very rarely. They're like a Canadian. It's very hard to piss them off.
I don't know, dude. I don't. Anytime you see spiders lift their front legs, like they're about to tag something.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh man, I feel like I got spiders crawling on me now, bro. Shit.
I get the way you feel if I think about cockroaches.
Really?
Yeah. So if I were to ever think
talking about those flying motherfuckers that
any kind of well, the small ones are annoying, but they don't scare me. But the flying ones, I saw a flying one a few weeks ago. And then just those normal big ones, those big black ones.
Yeah.
But then there's the small German ones. Those are annoying because those will make colonies in your place.
Oh yeah.
The big ones are freakier, but fortunately they are loners. I think they don't create colonies.
They could survive a fucking a nuclear fucking attack.
And I think for a few days without their head.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I don't. Cockroaches freak me out, and cicadas freak me out. I hate cicadas. Cicadas, locusts, and palmetto bugs.
Cicadas. Dude, it's so funny you mentioned that, because have you ever heard of cicada killers? We got them around here. And so when I was in Marksville, there are these big, huge, yellow, fucking black and yellow. It looks like a giant wasp, okay? But it's almost the size of a fucking hummingbird. Uh-huh. So I've come across those before in Marksville, and I never could. I'm like, dude, what are these? So I got to looking them up, and it was showing like what they do. They kill they kill the, what do you call them? Cicadas. They kill them and they bring them back to their fucking nest or whatever. And I don't know how they manipulate their body to, but bro, after I read that, I actually seen one flying around with the cicada in its grasp. Yes, I actually seen it. It was so cool, bro.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, I forgot.
That sounds like a nightmare.
It is a huge fucking. And we actually killed one. That's right. We had got one. Well, the stinger on that motherfucker comes out so far, bro.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I gotta look that up for sure. But here. That's one of the reasons. Okay, so the banana spider can stay far away from me, and I hate it more than any other spider. But here's the thing: a banana spider is big enough. It makes its web. I've seen it in the woods. If a cicada were to fly into that web, that spider is going to eat it. So you get a small little jumping spider. That's not going to eat a cicada. It's not big enough. But a banana spider and most other spiders will eat cicadas. But I hate cicadas more than Jesus Christ.
That's it right there, dude. On the bottom. That's it. That's them. Look how big they are.
Damn. Cicadas and other flying bugs alike,
And I actually seen him do that right there.
Go. Holy sh! Oh no! See, the wasp isn't what freaks me out. It's the cicada.
Really?
Those things. You know what? I don't. Spiders freak me out. Most of them do. Mm-hmm. But I'm glad that they exist because they kill cicadas.
Oh yeah. Oh,
they
really?
Because they eat cicadas and they eat locusts and palmetto bugs and beetles.
So
I hate those.
So
bugs.
why do you hate cicadas so much?
I don't know. It makes my neck crawl.
Have you seen the form that they take before they become the flying?
It was a long time ago.
They're those little shells that you'll see on trees sometimes. It's like a little creepy looking.
Oh yeah. I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's what they come out of. Mm-hmm. When that's what they morph out of. That's like the larva.
They shed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had the wings and shit, and they were loud. Have you ever heard one scream?
Yes, I was on oh man, I remember like it was yesterday. Back when I was at my parents' house and I was doing an abs workout on the back porch, and a cicada had landed on, like, you know, about 6 feet away from me, and it was screaming every now and then. Like it would scream at the top of its lungs, and it would be quiet, and it would just sit there. Right. And I'm like, okay, I already did, you know, other workouts before this, and I was just doing abs, and then I was done. I was going inside, so I was like, okay, let me finish this ab workout. So I did my abs workout, and as soon as I get done, I stand up and I kind of, you know, just, okay, stay right there, and it's going to leave the back porch. I don't go directly inside because there's a door to go inside. I have to go around to the other door to go inside the house. So I'm stepping into the backyard, and that bug. Fuck no.
Fucked you up, huh?
I broke the sound barrier running. I guarantee you I ran faster than Usain Bolt at that point.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's funny, dude.
I've ran really fast when I was a kid. My brother and I, being idiots, we were throwing rocks at a wasp nest.
You got to haul ass when you do that.
Oh yeah, we take these rocks or whatever we can find that we can throw up at a wasp nest, and we're throwing it, we're hitting them, they're flying around, we're keeping our distance. And then I see one of them just decides to, you know, come after me real far away. Yeah. I was standing a good distance away because you throw it back up.
Yeah.
And then I saw it. One of them was flying towards me, so I was like, okay, let me just do a little jog away, you know, outrun it. And then I ran probably 50 yards away from this nest, and the wasp was still following me.
Motherfucker, he was locked on you.
That's when I sprinted faster than a car.
Yeah.
I ran.
Bro, I didn't get stung by a red wasp until I was like 32 or 33. Mm-hmm. I had zero fear of wasps, dude. Zero. I would walk around like there'd be nests of them everywhere. They'd be flying everywhere. I didn't have any fear of them. One day, bro, here's how I explain it. It felt like somebody fucking grabbed my ear, got some vice grips, squeezed the vice grips till they locked, and then got a needle and jammed it in my fucking ear, and then took the vice grips off. That's what it felt like.
It was a red wasp?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was stung. I've been stung by a wasp only once before. It wasn't
fucking hurt.
I've always anticipated getting. I was always afraid of getting stung by a wasp. Ever since I was a kid, it didn't happen until I think I was already in my 20s when I was mowing the grass, and some wasps had made a nest in a little piece of channel iron that was just laying on the ground, and I bumped it with the lawnmower, and they came out and stung my ankle. When I was stung, I felt it. I was like, "Oh shit! What the fuck was that?" It felt like somebody had poked me with a thumbtack.
Yeah.
It was. I was like, well, that wasn't as bad as I anticipated, because I anticipated it being like, "Oh, it feels like my foot got cut off or something."
Yeah.
But no, I don't think it was a red wasp though. I think, and there are stings worse than others.
Oh yeah.
I think
most definitely.
Have you heard of the bullet ant?
Yes, I've seen them. I call them the velvet ant, or
The
is that
velvet
red
ant is
one?
different. No, the bullet ant isn't. It's not here. It's in another country.
Okay. I think I've seen Coyote Peterson get stung by that.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. Coyote Peterson. I saw that video.
Yeah.
He worked his way up to it though.
Yeah. He went through the levels. The cow killer is one I'm thinking. That's the one we got here.
The cow killer.
Yeah, it's called the cow killer.
That's the.
That's the red velvet one.
Yes.
When you step on that motherfucker and it don't die.
Yeah, I think that one. He also got stung by a tarantula hawk too.
Really?
Yeah. I remember. Oh, man.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I think he had to aggravate it a little bit too, because I don't think it didn't want to hit him at first.
You're talking. Oh, the tarantula hawk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the tarantula hawk is really fucked up. Do you know what the tarantula hawk does?
Don't some shit about them fucking taking over the fucking the nervous system of the spider or some shit and controlling it and lay eggs and I don't know. Somewhere like
there's something like that in nature where ants will become zombies, and I think there's a parasite
that long parasite. I think it takes over praying mantises. Like if you soak a mantis, if they have it and you put it in water, it'll start coming out of its rear end and shit.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I think I've seen something like that.
Yeah, there's videos of that shit.
I don't know specifically, but let's just say that's it. So the basics of it is there's a parasite that will hijack the nervous system, but it will turn, let's say, the praying mantis into a zombie.
Yeah.
The reason why is because it's very weird how Mother Nature has so many steps to accomplish a goal. But this parasite needs to get into a bird. So the only way it can do that is by hijacking a praying mantis, turning it into a zombie so that the praying mantis goes into a vulnerable spot to get eaten by a bird, and then thus the parasite enters the bird.
What?
Yes, it's weird because the praying mantises and bugs alike, they have the instinct to avoid birds.
Right.
But the parasite tricks it into willingly giving itself up to the bird, and then when it goes up somewhere where the bird can see it, it baits itself.
Yeah.
It tricks it into baiting itself into getting eaten by birds, so then the parasite gets where it needs to go.
Mother Nature is so fabulous, dude. It's so neat.
But the tarantula hawk is fucked up because it will catch a tarantula, a real tarantula. That's why they call it the tarantula hawk, because it'll capture a tarantula, sting it, and paralyze it. Its venom will completely turn the tarantula into a vegetable, and then drag the tarantula to its babies. Or no, not to its babies. No. It will drag it to its home and then lay its babies inside the tarantula. All while the tarantula is still alive.
It's just immobilized.
It can't move. So it's going to lay its eggs, hatch its babies inside the tarantula's body, and then when the tarantula hawk babies hatch, they will then start to eat the tarantula from the inside. Now, the tarantula is also still alive and can't move.
Right.
So imagine being a tarantula, and you got a bunch of bugs inside you eating you from the inside out. And the thing is that that's not just a happenstance. That's according to experts, the tarantula hawk and its babies need the tarantula to be alive, as fucked up as it sounds, because that's just how they get the nutrients or whatever from the spider still being alive.
Right.
It's crazy. I've heard stories about people being in surgery and the what is it, anesthesia? The anesthesia doesn't work, and they feel everything. It's fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
That's to call that a nightmare is an understatement.
Oh, what?
Of the century.
No lie, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, Coyote Peterson, he's crazy.
He's a goat, dude. He's definitely in. He's cool. He's cool.
Yeah.
He does some shit like some of the shit I could do, like like getting bit by some of the lizards and shit he got bit by, but like the stinging thing, bro, he's got a set of balls on him. Mm-hmm. Like, because, bro, you don't know if you're gonna have an allergic reaction to this shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's got the EpiPen available.
Yeah, that's true. He's staffed up pretty well.
Yeah, but I mean, there's still a risk.
There's still that chance of you might not be able to shake that. What you say, Baylee?
But yeah, but that bullet ant. What's crazy about that is
that's the black one, right? Is it a black ant?
It's a big, it's big. It's a big black ant, and it feels like, I guess, I don't know from experience. I've never been bit by one. Also, never been shot, so I wouldn't know. But people have experienced both and say
that's why they call it the bullet ant. Then.
Yes,
no shit.
Yes. There are individuals who have felt the pain of both and say it's the same.
Bro, what about these people like in like Southeast Asia and shit that like fucking they go from the village or whatever to get pails of water or to gather food, and they get fucking snatched up by an anaconda and get swallowed. Ever you seen anything like that? Mm-mm. Yeah, dude.
Jesus.
Yeah, like fucking somebody in the village will disappear and they'll go around and they'll find a snake and it has a big fucking hump in it, and their body's in there.
Jesus.
I couldn't imagine. Dude, could you imagine getting the eating process, but feeling that snake tighten around you more and more and more?
Yeah, squeeze. That's what it does. It squeezes you until you're dead.
Yeah.
Shit.
Fuck that. I love America.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, me too. But I don't know if you've heard about this, but that the bullet ant is, you have dozens and dozens and dozens of those ants put into an oven mitt, right? And the children who turn, I guess they turn 13, they're supposed to, by the ritual, they're supposed to put their hands in the oven mitt for 10 minutes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No.
Yeah, they put their, it's like I said.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, I think you can find it on YouTube.
Fuck yeah.
Bullet ant tribe ritual or something. They like I said, they're not old. They're just old. They're coming of age, which, like I said, I think it's 12, 13, 14 years old or something like that.
Yeah, and they all die at 18. So that's their life fucking span.
Yeah.
Doing stupid shit like that.
They put they put both mitts on, and they gotta do a ritual dance for, I don't know if it's 10 minutes or more, but they gotta. But here's the thing, though. What makes it worse is that they can't show pain.
Look at that. Bullet ant ritual gloves.
They can't show that they're in pain. There was a journalist who did it. He tried it. He's got some balls on him, because he put his hand in the mitts for 1 second, pulled him out, and he was freaking out. He said the way he was acting, it looked like he got third-degree burned on his hand. And that's probably what it feels like.
Wow, bro. Dude, check this shit out. The bullet ant glove ritual is a coming-of-age ceremony practiced by the Setir Maui people of the Amazon. Mm-hmm. Young boys willingly endure being stung by bullet ants as part of an initiation to become warriors and leaders within their tribe. The ritual involves placing their hands into gloves woven with numerous bullet ants, which have been rendered unconscious and then reawakened to inflict the painful stings. What the fuck?
I didn't know about the unconscious part. How did they do that?
It says bullet ants are carefully collected and rendered unconscious, possibly by submersion in a natural sedative.
I don't know where they get that in the jungle.
No shit, man. There's all kinds of shit they got. It's probably from a fucking plant that they ground up some kind of way.
Probably.
The ants are woven stingers facing inward into special gloves made of leaves or vines. Initially, they place their hands into the gloves and must endure the stings for a set period, often 10 minutes. Pain and aftermath. The bullet ant sting is known for its intense pain, which can last for hours and can cause temporary paralysis and shaking. Repeated ritual. The ritual is not a one-time event. The Setir Maui initiate must repeat the experience multiple times to fully complete the initiation. What in the hell, bro?
Man.
This ritual is not just about enduring pain. It symbolizes a boy's transition to manhood, his courage, and his acceptance into the community. Call me a pussy.
I'm not doing that either.
Call me a pussy. I don't want to be a warrior. Fuck this.
Fuck that shit. I mean, you don't have to here. You have to there.
Yeah, I know. Like, fuck that tribe.
Yeah.
Let him lead it. Let Jeremy have it. I don't want it.
Yeah. Oh, fuck that shit.